I'm going to just tell you this. This is my prediction. You know what? It's the end of the line right now for mainstream media. Legacy media, as you know it, I mean, we've been saying it's dead, it's officially dead. And I don't know really what's quite going to be left of these networks, these behemoths, these longtime legacy operations with their massive news gathering operations, propaganda operations, shall we say. I don't know what's really going to happen to them. I think it's going to be pretty tough. I was just looking through some of the numbers and I want to share with you right now. Do you know that 5 million people cut the cord on cable last year? You know what? My family was one of them. We finally did it. You'd think, me being streaming, that I would have done that earlier, but it took us a little while. We had to figure the whole thing out. And sure enough, we saved a whole lot of money by cutting the cord. It turns out you can get football and stuff like that on YouTube too. So we cut the cord along with 5 million other people. That number is going to grow and grow and grow. It's one of the reasons why MSNBC is spinning off away from the parent network, because Comcast knows this is not the future. This is not the future. Comcast doesn't have a future with cable anymore. You think about all the layoffs that happened at CNN, at NBC, at Vox, and guess what? There's plenty more where that came from. Thoughts now that ABC is going to be experiencing massive layoffs, the Disney-owned company that, frankly, finds itself in a whole lot of trouble, in part because guess what? The FCC controls those airwaves that they're on. It's actually different than cable in the case of network. And the FCC, now run by Brendan Carr and Donald Trump, they're not such big fans of Bob Iger, Disney's ABC, or Whoopi Goldberg, or George Stephanopoulos, or David Muir, or any of these people. So ABC is kind of up a creek without a paddle. And then you look at some of these numbers, and this just blew me away. First of all, I did not realize that subscriptions were this low altogether. Take a peek here. Let me see if I can show you. Oh yeah, New York Times, print circulation. It plummeted to 267,000, down 13% in 2024. Guess how much it's going to plummet in 2025? A whole lot more. I mean, only 267,600 people are getting the New York Times every single day. And then you get the Wall Street Journal, which is faring a bit better because at least, it's covering something specific. And it tends to be, dare I say, I mean, they have their own biases there too, but financial journalism, having come from that world, I can tell you tends to be a little bit less biased because you know what? The stock market's going to go up, it's going to go down. And no matter what, you want to make money. So you can't be overly political in that genre. Wall Street Journal has done a little bit better, but it still fell. Actually, more than the New York Times by 14% to 555,200. The LA Times, very slim publication there, reading the LA Times, fell to 105,700 people. Apparently, this is one Twitter account that's writing, you know what? Turns out preaching to these empty rooms does not pay the bills. We are the media. In other words, you, me, everyone out there, everyone on X, everyone on YouTube. Where do young people get their news today? YouTube, Rumble, maybe Facebook here and there, although Facebook wants to do less and less with news and more with entertainment. So people are coming to new news sources. And this is one of the reasons why we've done so phenomenally well here. Do I have my subscribe? I do have the subscribe button. I wasn't sure if we had that up. See, I'm wearing black. It's like a funeral for mainstream media here today. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. Yeah, this soundbite, I meant to show you this the other day, so forgive me for not showing it to you as soon as it came out. But this was said by one Jennifer Rubin maybe about 3 days ago, where she sat down for this panel with Kellyanne Conway's former husband, George, the Never Trumper. And the two of them are talking about the demise of mainstream media and how bad it is. And Jennifer Rubin, who used to work for the Washington Post until, well, she became too biased for the Washington Post, which tells you something, right? Jennifer Rubin is trying to point out that, oh, you know what, all those Trump people, those MAGA people, they're illiterate, basically. She goes right back to the well with that song and dance. And she's like, there's no point in even trying to get them as a newspaper subscription because you never will. Look, I got news for her. Plenty of people are subscribed to Substack. Plenty of people subscribe to newsletters, including my own, 76research.com, shameless plug in there, 76research.com. You can get it for $1 a month, $1 a month. It goes to $9.95 after the first 2 months. But you can cancel anytime, no harm, no foul. It's all about financial markets and investing. But let's listen to Jennifer, who somehow thinks that people who are conservative, who like Donald Trump, don't know how to read.
Okay. Why would ABC, Disney, the mouse, who has more money than God, settle with Donald Trump?
I honestly don't know.
You know, I've asked, why would ABC? But people ask me all the time, why is the media so mamsy-pamsy? And there are two explanations. One is they are convinced that if they would just move a little bit to the right, all those MAGA readers out there, now you'll notice the contradiction in terms, MAGA readers, would pick up the Washington Post and they would have more readers. What is the logical fallacy here? Yes, reader. And there is nothing that the Washington Post could possibly do that would have those people take out a subscription. But they're convinced they're in there someplace.
But. You heard where she was going, right? Whoa! I mean, she just kind of wants to just give dig after dig after dig after dig. And somehow those people, they're never going to read anyway. So why would you even bother? Again, I have news for her because they are reading. They're just not reading what you write, Jennifer. And they're not reading what the New York Times writes or what the Washington Post writes or the LA Times because it's nauseating. All right, it's gotten exhausting. We're tired of the same old song and dance. We're tired of you basically lying. I mean, I don't know how to say this nicely. That's what you guys did for some 8 years. I mean, we had Russia. Then we had to hear how, oh no, that laptop, that was bought and paid for by the Russians and brought to you courtesy of Rudy Giuliani. That had nothing to do with Hunter Biden, who Joe just pardoned after he promised, and you all swore in your editorial pages this would never happen. After he promised he would never pardon him, what did he do? He pardoned him, and like thousands of other people for that matter, with some serious criminal records. So I think Americans are just kind of sick and tired of reading the same old song and dance and not being able to actually get any truth. I mean, another great example is the COVID thing. We just, this on yesterday's show. You had Robert Redfield, former head of the CDC, now telling us, hey, look, this was a deliberate squash operation by the intelligence arms. The intelligence, the U.S. intelligence, he believes might have even had operators over there in the Wuhan lab, and they didn't want that information to get out. So they immediately squelched it. You couldn't talk about the virus maybe having been created in the Wuhan lab where they were doing this gain of function research. So they lied to you yet again. And not only did they lie to you, they lied to the President of the United States, Joe Biden. They refused to even tell him how bad his polls were or that there was some intelligence that suggested the virus could have come out of Wuhan, China. I'll let you in on a little secret. Those of you that subscribe to the show and watch regularly, you may have heard me say this before, but I knew in February of 2020, I had heard through very good sources that were highly connected to the administration, to intel ops within the administration, and to China, that it was believed the virus had been created in this lab in Wuhan, China, and it was not deliberate. Like, I should caution, it wasn't deliberate, but they felt very strongly that this had been a mistake and it had gotten out. So I'm hearing this in February of 2020. The country shuts down in March 2020. In May 2020, President Trump alludes to, maybe there's been some intelligence that suggests that it could have come out of Wuhan, China. And guess what? Everybody goes nuts. Next thing you know, Nature Journal is totally trashing him. Anthony Fauci, trashing him. Boom, 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 boom. And they're using this as an opportunity to take him out, saying he's lying, saying that blaming China is racist, etc. You know the drill. Only it turns out, now we know, yep, sure enough, came from China. So, no, Jennifer, you know what? It's not that people can't read. People don't want to read lies, and that's what has happened. And so you've seen these subscriptions drop massively. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse, if you would, for the mainstream media.